Hello folks, welcome to the electric car lease deals of the month for February 2025. There are still some brilliant deals around on EVs right now. Some of the players have changed in this, so keep watching because there's some interesting stuff going on. Link to Lease locos in the video description as always. Please do use that because it helps me do this. And thank you to ALA for sponsoring today's video. Also, just a quick plug, I've got a second channel, a travel channel called 𝙇𝙄𝙉𝙆𝙎. Please go and have a look at that and show it some love. And also, if you don't already subscribe to the Charging Status EV podcast that I do with my mate Alex Lowe, go and check that out. There's also a YouTube channel for that, so go and have a look. Right, let's crack on with the deal, shall we? And we are starting things off today with this bad boy. Not my favourite car in the world, I have to say, but it's 183 quid a month with 549 up front on a 3-year deal with 10,000 miles a year. 10,000 miles might be a bit punchy on this kind of car, given its limitations. So if you're doing 5,000 miles a year, that reduces by 13 quid a month. Not a massive difference, but there you go. Every little helps, as Tesco say. It is, of course, the 𝙇𝙄𝙉𝙆𝙎 Expression. This one's got 140 miles of range, 0 to 62 in 19.1 seconds. 0 to 30 is not too bad in it though, and that's the important thing in a car like this because you're only really going to be driving it around town. 308 litres of boot space, 45 brake horsepower. You can buy one of these for 15 grand, and to lease one for this is going to be what, basically 7 grand. So do you think that 𝙇𝙄𝙉𝙆𝙎 is going to be worth 8 grand in 3 years? I doubt it somehow. So there you go. You pays your money, you takes your chance, don't you? Price history on it, 232 has been the average price, 325 at its peak. Unbelievable, 325 quid. And just recently it's just dropped down. I mean, last week it was 205 quid a month. Before that, 195, 203, etc. Right, Vauxhall Mokka E, 241 quid a month with 723 up front, 209 miles of range, 136 horsepower, 310 litres of boot space, insurance group 21, 9.2 seconds to 62. If we have a look at the price history on this one, this is the GS model, by the way, important to point that out. 685 at its peak. Look at this. Basically, during September and October, it was over 600 quid a month. I'm sure sometimes manufacturers just put the rates up massively so that, you know, you can see a huge discount off it because no one would have paid that for one. The more realistic peak was about 330 quid a month, 320 quid a month, something like that. But the average on it's been 346. The lowest price we've seen on it in the last 12 months is today at £241, 723 up front, and this one's in stock, so it will go quickly. So if you're interested in that, get on it as soon as possible. Peugeot E208 is next, 248 miles of range, 156 horsepower, 309 litres of boot space, insurance group 31 and 8.2 seconds to 62. Average on that one's been £368. Not too long ago, actually. It was 575, 590 back there. For a lot of the year, it's been about 300 quid, just under or just over 300 quid a month. Lowest point we've seen on it, it was 271, nearly 272, and it's now at 275 with 827 up front. Mini Aceman is next, 135 kilowatt E-Classic Level 1, £306 a month with 920 up front, 191 miles of range in this one, 184 brake horsepower, 300 litres of boot space and insurance group 20. This sort of sits between the Mini Cooper and the Mini Countryman in the Mini lineup. So basically sort of Mini Cooper with a bigger boot. If you think along those lines, you're not too far wrong. Quite a cool looking thing. I love the new Minis, as you probably know. 7.9 seconds to 62 in this one, and a pretty special price right now. When these came out, 658 a month, then they sort of dropped down to about 400, and about 400 seemed to be where they looked like they were going to sit. But we've just seen a big price drop, and a few weeks ago you could get one for 305, is now 306. So you're going to be £1 a month worse off than you were if you'd leased one about 3 or 4 weeks ago. £920 up front, 306 a month, and that looks like a bit of a deal. If you're thinking about leasing a car, you should also be giving some consideration to getting yourself some gap insurance. So we're going to get a quote on this one from today's sponsor, ALA Insurance. So we're putting the price there, £31,500. That's how much it would cost you to buy that mini Aceman. Manufacturer's Mini, and yes, it's an electric car, and we're going to get the prices pop up. Now, the price here includes a discount, which is Gap 5 off. That gets you 5% off. But if we change that to Gym 10, we then get 10% off. Now, this is for 3 years worth of cover. This is a 3-year lease, so you want cover for all 3 years. We're going to say initial rental cover up to £1,000. And then we're going to say the monthly rental on it is 306 or 307. We'll round it up. And then excess contribution up to 250 quid. So they'll pay that towards your car insurance excess if the car's obviously written off. And your level of cover is 31,500. So for 3 years cover on that with my discount, it's costing you 120 quid. So 40 quid a year is all it's costing you. Now, you can pay that off monthly if you want. You pay it over 10 monthly instalments at £13.74 a month. So after 10 months, it's paid off. But for 120 quid, just put the money together and pay for it and save yourself a few quid, I guess. There you go. Check that out. If you want to call ALA, you can give them a call on 01653 916 304. They don't have commission salespeople. They have customer service people. So don't be intimidated by giving them a call. Lovely folks if you've got any questions. And don't forget to put in that code GYM10 to save yourself 10%, or give them it over the phone. There's also a link in the video description and a little QR code popping up on the screen that you can use to take you there. Thanks to ALA for sponsoring today's video. Right, Renault 5, and I'm showing you this not because it's a great deal, quite the opposite actually, but I often talk about shopping for the deal and not for the car. Now, this is a car that loads of people want, and it looks like a brilliant, brilliant little thing, if a little bit restricted in the back. 933 up front, 311 a month, and actually that's like 40p more than it was at its lowest price, but it's been out for 5 minutes and the price is not really doing any kind of movement at the moment. So 311 quid, massively desirable car, loads of people want one. However, that car's 22.5 grand if you want to buy it. So at 311 quid a month, that's not exceptional value. This Mini is 31.5 grand if you want to buy it, and it's £306 a month. So when I say shop for the deal and not for car, this is a brilliant example of it. Say £300 your monthly budget, you can spend it on a Mini Aceman or a Renault 5. Now, you might well prefer the Renault 5, but if you just look at it on paper, it's a 22.5 grand car for the same amount of money as a 31.5 grand car. So one of them represents better value. Little digression, I just wanted to show you it. Mini Cooper eSport, 41 kilowatt hour, 241 miles of range in this. And this is one of the most fun electric cars available at the moment, certainly in its class. I don't think anything can touch it for just how much fun it is to drive and how much grin factor it gives you. 945 up front, 315 a month, 241 miles of range, 184 horsepower, insurance group 21, and 210 litres of boot space. 0-62 in 7.3 in this one. Feels way faster than that, I can tell you with confidence. Now, it did go down to 282 quid right at the end of December, so I'm guessing they were just trying to get those final sales over the line for the ZEV mandate. So if you want to hang around until December again, it could happen. But also early December, it was 40 quid more than it is right now. So the pricing's been all over the shop on this. The first few months it was released, it was nearly 500 quid a month or over 450. Then it settled down to about 350, and 350 seems to be its happy place. But at the moment it's 315 with 945 up front. It's in stock and it's brilliant, like absolutely brilliant. Folks, just a very quick reminder to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Thanks. Cupra Born is next. This is the V1, 265 miles of range, 231 brake horsepower, 385 litres of boot space, insurance group 26. 0-62 in 6.7 seconds. It's been 394 on average. It was 686 at its peak. At its lowest point, it was £2 a month less than it is right now. It's £317 a month with 952 up front. Volkswagen ID4 Match Pure, £337 a month with £1,000 up front. Now, this might be the ideal car if you do lots of family trips, but you don't often do super long trips. 224 miles of range in this one. There is a bigger battery version as well, which we've seen around about £375 a month in the past. This one's the smaller battery. 224 miles of range, 170 brake horsepower, insurance group 23, and 543 litres of boot space, which could well be important to you in a car like this. 530 quid a month on average, 672 at its peak, and its lowest point, it was 12 quid a month less than it is right now. Right, Renault Scenic E-Tech Techno Long Range, 379 miles of range, 545 litres of boot space, insurance group 32. They look great. It won World Car of the Year at Geneva last year. It, by all accounts, is a lovely thing. 1,100 up front and 372 a month. 436 a month on average. 519 a month at its peak, and only once for a couple of minutes did we see it drop to a silly low price. It was 319 quid, but that must have been like a one-off or something, or a cancelled order. I don't know, because as you can see, pricing's been dead steady on this with just incremental minor adjustments on the way down. I think anything under 400 quid on this is a good deal in my personal opinion. 1,118 up front and 372 a month. Next, we've got the Peugeot E3008 GT, 326 miles of range, 213 brake horsepower, insurance group 33, 588 litres of boot space, and 0 to 62 in 8.8, 525 a month on average, 783 at its peak, 384.94, which is the current price, is the lowest price we've seen it. Just last week, it was 398. The week before that, it was 404. The week before that, 412. The week before that, 415. So you can see it's just dropping down. But it feels like for the longest period before that, it was, over 500 quid a month. So this looks like a really good deal right now. It is in stock again, and that might be why it's such a good price. 1,154 up front and 384 a month. Is in stock, so I would suggest you move on that if you want one. Right, Nissan Ariya, and this one you might think's brilliant, because let's get the price history on it. And 540 a month has been the average on it, 615 at its peak, and this is the lowest price we've seen it. But despite all that, I don't think this is an amazing deal, so just be careful. This is why it's worth watching these videos, even if you've watched enough of them to think you know what's going on and that Lease Loco score tells you everything. It doesn't, in my personal opinion, because not too long ago, in fact, a few weeks ago, you could get the one with the big battery and the sunroof and everything else for less than this. It's just that this particular model and this particular spec wasn't really being reduced. I guess they probably sell more of the lower battery range version because it's got a lower sort of price entry point. But despite this one being the best price it's been the last 12 months, I don't think it's an outstanding deal or giving you outstanding value for money. Lovely car, the Ariya. I think it sits head and shoulders above anything else in the Nissan range. And I definitely recommend the car. It's just when you're looking at some of these deals, just be a little bit careful. The Cupra Tavascan is next. 353 miles of range, 286 brake horsepower, insurance group 34, 540 litres of boot space, 0 to 62 in 6.8 in one of these. It's a beautiful looking thing. I think that's one of the best looking cars in the VW Audi group at the moment. Certainly one of the best looking SUVs anyway. I think it's a lovely looking thing. Really interesting lines, and it's still a nice practical car. 1,283 up front, 427 a month. Let's have a look at that one. 543 on average, 974 it was in August when it appeared on the scene, and then it quickly dropped down to this kind of price. It's in stock, 1,283 up front and 427 a month. Next, we've got the BYD Seal, a sexy little beast of a car and a brilliant alternative to Tesla. If you're in the market for that Tesla Model 3, Polestar 2, Ioniq 6, ID7 maybe, all those kind of cars, you should definitely be having a look at a Seal because it's a beautiful car. 1,300 up front and 438 a month. 354 miles of range, 312 brake horsepower, insurance group 48, 400 litres of boot space, and 5.9 seconds to 62. Average on this one's been 567 a month. We have seen one significant dip on this where it went to 391 for about 3 minutes. But in recent times, it hasn't really dipped below 400 quid at all. In fact, it's seldom dipped below 450. Prior to that, it wasn't dipping between 500-600. So this looks like good value at the moment at 438 a month, with 1,300 up front. Next, we've got the BMW iX2. Now, this has just gone up again. There were some in-stock ones of these last week that were about 40-50 quid less, but it still is a really good price compared to what it has been at. 489 a month with 1,468 up front, 267 miles of range, 313 brake horsepower, insurance group 38, and 525 litres of boot space, 0-62 in 5.6. And have a look-see at this. £703 a month on average, 902 at its peak, 448 it was for the stock 1 or 2, whatever they were. Currently 489 with 1468 up front. Right, the Jag I-Pace. Now this is a car you can no longer order new, but there are loads of pre-reg models that have just hit the market. You can get one from a dealer if you're a cash buyer or something with a huge discount at the moment. But I think it's going to hemorrhage cash. So it might still be worth having a look at the lease. 1,618 up front and 539 up front. And I'm just going to go straight to the price history because look at this. Average on it's been 1,145 a month. This one's the 𝘼𝙁𝙁𝙄𝙇𝙄𝑼𝙏 SE Black. 1,600 at its peak. And this is the lowest price we've seen on it at 539 a month. And if you want to go for the other levels, you can see they're quite a bit more expensive. The HSE Black, 88 quid a month more. The Sport is 100 quid a month more. But if let's click on that Sport just for a second. You see that's still like the lowest price we've seen on it. And look at that. It was £1,700 a month. It's insanity. However, this time last year, it was only 700 quid a month. But if you like the I-Pace and have only ever been put off by the price, then, you know, it's not a bad time to get one. But it is going to be your last chance to get one because you can't order a new one from the factory at Jag anymore. 277 miles of range, 400 brake horsepower, insurance group 50, 505 litres of boot space, 0-62 in 4.8. And 539 a month with 1,600 up front on this one. Polestar 4 is next, and this is a weird one because this is a sit and wait, I think. 379 miles of range, 526 litres of boot space, 252 brake horsepower, just under 1,800 up front and 594 a month. Haven't driven one yet, but I'm expecting it to be absolutely brilliant. 7.1 seconds to 62. But have a look at this, 815 a month on average, £1,000 at its peak, 504 at its lowest point. So it was 500 quid just recently, and then it's gone back up again. But I think this is a difficult car for them to shift because the pricing's quite punchy on it. Although this one's in stock and it still looks like a good price at 594 a month when you compare it to, you know, previous to that it was 632 a month, 900 quid a month. So it still looks like a good price, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that come down again. So keep your eyes on it. Next, we've probably got the best deal in the video, but it's also the most expensive. It's the BMW iX xDrive 50 M Sport Auto with the Tech Plus pack. £870 a month with 2,600 up front. 380 miles of range, 523 brake horsepower, insurance group 50 and 500 litres of boot space. 0-62 in 4.6 seconds. Average price on it's been £1,722 a month. At its peak, it was £2,000 a month, and it's currently £870, and it's in stock. I dare say there might be just one of these or a couple of them. That's such a massive price cut that it feels to me like perhaps a cancelled order or something. Literally throughout January, it started at £1,650 a month and ended at £1,550 a month, and then they've just literally taken the plug out. £870 a month with 2,600 up front. Folks, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to use that link to Lease Loco. Please subscribe to the channel and please support my sponsors, ALA Insurance. And don't forget to go and check out 𝙇𝙄𝙉𝙆𝙎. Thanks ever so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Huge thanks to all my channel members for your continued support. I really do appreciate it.